hey, excuse me. And he's like, huh?
Yeah.
Right? And he goes, I just want to say I'm a huge fan, right? And once you hear Stevie's voice, you know it's not Bobby, right? He's like, I'm not who you think I am. I'm not famous, right?
I'm that
bad. This guy's face just drops like crazy embarrassed.
Yeah, I was like, first of all,
oh my God.
Have you heard the phrase, not all of us look alike?
Yeah, and you're at an Asian.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome to an episode of the Genius Brain Podcast. All Sundays at 12 p.m. I love you very much, people. This is the third-ish year? 4 years? 3.5 years? Shit, it's been a while.
Well, this is my second year coming into the podcast. I think I first came last March.
Yeah. It might be around like 4 years, almost 4 years now, which is kind of fucking crazy.
It worked out a lot better than having to edit a fucking vlog every week.
I tell you that. Dude, I started doing just like these quick little vlogs just when I have a thought randomly.
Right.
I'm like, man, I forgot how annoying this stuff is to edit. Yeah. I was like, oh my God, I gotta color correct all this shit. Like, oh my God, this is annoying.
So much fucking work.
Dude,
right?
like.
It's not, okay, like on a singular level, it's not like that hard, right? Mm-hmm. But if you have to do it twice a week,
it's like holy shit. You know, even like with the podcast and just going and thinking about it too, it's like, do you have any idea how many times I had to lay my opinions about things like constantly? Like, once again, I'm never ever going to complain about my life. I really appreciate everything that I get to do, and you know, even being able to do stuff where this space makes sense and it works, it's nice. You know, I fucking love it. But it's kind of interesting that I have a certain fan base that comes in every week for me to fucking make them giggle and laugh or like give them perspective. One thing I will say though that I do want to address, just because, you know, people have been writing me comments and messages about this. They're like, dude, how come you always just shit on Mariel like all the time? It's like, she's on my podcast. Yeah. That's what I do. This is not our relationship conversations, you dummies.
It's like behind the scenes, you're just like, oh, you're an idiot.
Yeah. Like,
you call her a bitch, like in the behind the scenes.
Like, what are you dumb? Like, they're like, dude, she's telling her stuff and you're ragging on. Yeah, because I'm giving her shit on the podcast. We're just having a banter back and forth. Like, I've literally
called an abuser.
Yeah, they're like, why does she stay with such an abusive man?
She needs to open her eyes. And
you know, I know she's Asian, but open her eyes a little bit. It's like, dude, she knows it. We get it. Yeah. Like, nobody's defending Nick when I call him a tard.
Yeah.
Like, how come you're not defending Nick? Yeah. They're like, oh, it's different because it's not on this podcast. When she's on this podcast, she's not my fiance.
She's your co-host.
She's my co-host. Like that's work. We're doing work talk. You're not going to see all the smoochy shit on this fucking podcast. We don't. And this is the weird thing.
You can find that shit on Pornhub.
Yeah.
DavidSoComedy on Pornhub.
You'll see that shit fucking hacked in my iCloud pics. Yeah. But the weird thing is too, like I always tell people too, and I feel like a good portion is just like new subscribers or something. It's like, I'm always very adamant to let people know, like, you get to see what I let you see.
Yeah. That's so real because, I mean, we just talked about The Matrix and just going back to the idea of what The Matrix is like literally for some reason, people can't tell the difference between someone's reality and like just entertainment.
And just to like defend some of the viewership, I think it's because we do have very real conversations where it does get serious or whatever.
But then it's not like, hey, we're going to riff right now. Just you're not going to do that. Yeah. Right. If you know, riffing is when you get it in your head, you say the first thing.
Yeah. Do you think like when Mariel's telling me about her trip to Toronto, I'm like, oh, that's so dumb. No, I'm listening to it. I'm like, yo, that's dope that you went there. We've already had this conversation before.
They're retelling. It's not like, okay, she got back from Toronto. Don't tell me until we're on the mic. It's like, of course, you guys have had this conversation.
Yeah. She's just like, hey, can I tell you about my dad? I go, shut the fuck up. You know when we're supposed to have our real conversations? Yeah. We're supposed to have our real conversations on the podcast.
In front of the whole world.
And our fake stuff is in private.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Like, of course I'm fucking giving her shit and I'm poking fun of her. It's how everybody is treated on this podcast.
Yeah.
Because this is the fucking platform for that. You will never, ever be privy to our private conversations and how we really are, because that's for us.
This is your own little like loitering parking lot of the 7-Eleven where you go with your buddies to get a Slurpee and you just chill and hang out at the parking lot and you just talk a whole lot of bullshit.
It's just bullshit. Majority of the times it's nonsense. And by the way, too, one of the things that I wanted to address, they go, oh, how come on the podcast, Mariel doesn't open up about her life? You just talk so much. I'm like, because she doesn't want to fucking tell you about her personal shit. You fucking assholes, dude. Like, she comes on as a favor to me. You know, a lot of the times when Mariel comes on is because somebody has COVID.
Who else are you going to get to come in?
Exactly. So she, as a favor to me, she just comes on and then she asks a lot of questions and allows me to riff off her and then we have a conversation. Like, it's she's not an entertainer. And I don't think people understand it. Like, they're so used to seeing YouTube couples.
Right.
So it's like Bart and Jill that's their career.
Yeah.
You know,
that's both of their careers.
Exactly.
Mariel is not an entertainer to make money.
You're not going to know 90% of the stuff that she thinks, how she feels, and stuff about her personal life. You will never know that stuff. You know why? Because she's a normal human being.
Yeah.
She chooses not to let those things out because, number one, look, you motherfuckers can't even deal with public fucking scrutiny.
Yeah.
So who the fuck are you to fucking like ask her why she's not telling these stories?
And you know, from first person view, when you have a guest come on and it's actually their first podcast ever.
My God.
Like, what's that like?
Yeah, it's like pulling teeth.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So, and so like people have to understand like this is actually you have to get acclimated to this water.
Yeah.
You know, it's one thing, like even my first time I was nervous as fuck, but then, you know, over time I've been on here now like since last March.
Now it's just like natural.
It's natural.
And we're drunk.
Yeah. So it's only fair, you know, that Mariel comes on is actually like a fucking blessing for you. Because how many people could, you know, just be like, oh shit, I had a guest fall out.
Yeah.
Fill in.
Like I'm not going to explain this anymore. If you see Mariel on and you guys enjoy it for what it is. You're not going to really get to know her personally like you will me. I'm okay. I'm an open book. But even then, to my open, you still don't know like 70% of me.
Yeah.
Like I'm only telling you personal, like very weird stories that I'm okay telling.
Yeah.
Right? You're not going to know everything.
That's why it's got to fucking suck for people who create a character for themselves out there. And then like people meet them in real life and then they treat them like their character. And then all of a sudden the creator is like offended.
Yeah.
And it's like, you did this on yourself, man. Everybody thinks you're like this way.
Yeah. Like when people come up to me and they go like, oh, I thought you'd be a lot meaner. And I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
You know, I get it.
Roast me.
Yeah. Dude, so I'll get a lot of comments about like send food stuff or when we're doing when Foodie calls and they go, oh, David doesn't like being approached. I'm like, that's the joke in the video. That's the joke. It's like when somebody comes to screen, we're like, what the fuck are you doing here? That's the ongoing bit.
Yeah.
Like if you're a fan, do you guys understand that I owe you my life? I'm not like that. Like, look, I get it though, you know, but like the weird thing is like, oh my God, he's going to fucking yell at me. And like, yeah, if I yell at you, just understand you're a part of the joke. So enjoy it. Like after the cameras are off, say hi. It's normal. It's a part of the bit. Like I've explained it. And also I shouldn't have to explain that.
Yeah. That's when you lose the idea of a joke where it's just not funny anymore. Mm-hmm. That's when it sucks. It's like, once you have to explain a joke, it loses its appeal. It loses its fervor. And it's like, it's like, why do I have to catch you up to speed to here, man? Like everyone else is already here. And
it's like, and I've said it in a million videos before. It's like, you do understand that the career that a lot of these YouTubers have, like this is one of the most honest relationships. It's like, I have a lifestyle because you watch and support.
Yeah.
There is no other way around it. Yeah, I create stuff for me, but because you enjoy the stuff that I create, I get to be who I am. So there is no idea of me walking around thinking that I'm anywhere near better than any of my viewership. If anything, you're better than me because you allow me to live the life that I have.
Yeah.
So it's a lifestyle of appreciation. One of the things that people do have to remember, and I'm going to reiterate this, is that once again, even for me, the stuff that I put out, social media is not real. You get a glimpse of life and you get to see what I allow you to see.
Yeah.
So when Mariel comes on and you wonder why I'm talking so much, because guys, she's not comfortable talking about all of her personal details.
Yeah.
You will never, ever get to know that stuff because my lady is a very well-balanced human being, which is why I get to be as chaotic as I am.
Yeah.
You know, she's the yin to my fucking yang. So if you're wondering why, like, okay, well, on the podcast, she's asking more questions and not really answering her own, is because she's not comfortable. And rightfully so. She's not in entertainment. Personal information that goes out on this space also will affect her personal job.
Right.
You know? Like, why don't people, like, it's the same people who go online and they go, let me tell y'all something. I fucking hate Wendy's. Fuck Wendy's. This is the worst company ever. And the next day they go into Wendy's for work.
Yeah.
They're fired.
Yeah.
And they go, what happened?
It's like, you know, all those people that shit on Wendy's, they actually work for themselves. You know, they can't get fired by us.
Exactly.
So.
It's like one of those situations. It's the idea that a lot of people still, like, people have to come back to earth. Like, your personal information doesn't have to be out there. You don't have to let people know your thoughts all the fucking time, which is why a lot of celebrities often forget that when they tweet shit, you know, they go, this is how the world should be. Shut the fuck up. Remember Gal Gadot when she sang that stupid song with all her fucking celebrity friends?
Yeah.
How detached was that? You know?
It's fucking insane that it's not like it's the people who read the comments and people who put themselves in front of the camera too. It's like their sense of reality can be in the same space too, where it's like, I need to say this. Somebody needs to hear. And so they'll write this long ass fucking comment to like rebut whatever you had to say instead. And you'll be like, your only answer is like, man, it was a fucking joke.
Yeah.
Like, get the fuck over yourself.
Yeah. It's like, just fucking relax, man. That's why it's even hard for me to be sometimes like because I have like social anxiety.
Yeah.
I manage it pretty well just because I can like mentally get myself into a space where I can deal with it.
And it's like all the energy.
Yes. And then I don't want to be around people for the next few days. But the reason why too, I kind of figured a lot of my social anxiety comes from is the fact that I'm also becoming an adult now where it's not that I care what people think, but I'm also mindful about how people feel.
Right.
Right. And understandably so within the entertainment space, I am somebody that is much like the Matrix, an anomaly. You know, if I don't like somebody, it doesn't matter what your career is, what opportunities you can create for me.
You're not going to suck butt.
I'm not. It's just because my boss is you. Like, you know, like I answer to this crowd here. Like I get to create content freely. To be honest with you, a lot of YouTubers and social media people, we're spoiled in that sense.
Yeah.
In a good way. We get to create stuff without red tape. It's the only red tape that's there is stuff that we create for ourselves. We can literally create content whenever the fuck that we want. So when I go into a space where people say, okay, we're going to have this mixer. This is this person. You go make sure you talk to them. I'm like, no. Talk to my friends.
Yeah.
You know, if we happen to cross paths and we chop it up, great. If my goal is this guy has money for a film and I want to talk to him, then maybe I will.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I can't not be myself. It feels like a waste of my life force.
So speaking of social interactions, I went to an event that you didn't go to this year. I went to the Character Media Gala. Right?
Is that what it's called now?
Well, no, it's called the Unforgettable Gala, held by Character Media. Yeah. So it used to be called the Koream Gala.
Yes.
Right. Koream was like this publication for Korean Americans. Then they expanded to just generally Asian Americans. And right now you can really see that they're just trying to just be Asian. Right?
Yeah.
Because they also celebrate like Asians doing big things that are just from Asia too.
Yeah.
Right. So
today we had the laboratory scientists who created COVID-19.
Yeah. You made such an impact on our culture and on our way of life. You changed the way we think and feel.
In fact, your creation changed the world.
Yeah. So the Unforgettable Gala is like the BET Awards for Asians, right? It's just an award for being Asian.
Yes.
Right. So
cool.
I went to my first one like 11 years ago, like 2009, I think.
This podcast is brought to you by CBD Farmhouse, my friends. If you haven't heard me talk about this stuff right here, well, then you don't know me at all. And this is an easy ad placement for me to do because I use this stuff on the daily, whether it's their Sleepy Time gummies, their tinctures, their topical ointments, whatever, you name it. But right now, the product that I love the most is the Sleepy Time gummies because I have been having a lot of trouble sleeping lately, specifically because of work, and my time schedule has been all messed up. These things knock me out, and the best part about it is it helps me wake up without feeling groggy. I love it. If you're sore, you guys can use their freezing roll-on. You could use their topical creams. Whatever you want, CBD Farmhouse has it. And guess what? For my listeners out there, if you guys want to try their products and you are sworn in and you guys are convinced because I use it all the time, guess what? You can get 15% off by using my code BRAIN on their website, cbdfarmhouse.com. Enter code BRAIN to get 15% off. Once again, that's cbdfarmhouse.com. Enter code BRAIN to get 15% off. I love this stuff, and I know for a fact you will too. Whether you have anxiety, muscle aches, pains, whatever you need to chill out, CBD Farmhouse has it for you. Love you, bitches.
And then like the couple after too, it's because I did these like commercial contests for Jinro, and the finalists got to go, and I went 2 years in a row for that.
Yeah.
And then the next year I went with you and Dan. And
I presented an award to Psy digitally.
Yeah. You didn't show up.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So many years that I've gone, so many people don't show up. So it's kind of like, yeah, you know, like who doesn't show up for the BET Awards if they're black, right? Like they all like represent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's super hoity-toity pretty much. It's a black tie event.
This is why I don't go.
Yeah.
Like the 2 times that I went, I was forced to wear clothes. And I just, I was
forced to wear clothes. That's it.
Yeah. I was forced to wear slacks and a tie and a vest. And I just, by the way, I don't dislike the event. Yeah. I think the event's perfectly fine. Like, you know,
good food, free alcohol.
Yeah. You know, people are there to celebrate each other. I don't know what it is, man. I don't like the concept of awards for.
Yeah, it's self-masturbatory.
Yes, that's what it feels like. And like I said, too, take this with a grain of salt. I'm only telling you not how you should feel, is how I personally feel.
So, okay, actually say what you have to say about that.
Well, that's it.
That's it? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I went, so it was last month, I went, and Jimmy O Yang won an award for
his TV work and stuff
like that. Yeah. So it's not like, oh, best actor in a thing, right? Best what? No, it's just the groundbreaking award, like a new rookie on the scene who's making big waves, right?
Yeah. And
then they'll have one who's it's not like how well you do it, it's like how you're impacting the culture, which is legit, you know. So Jimmy O Yang won one for comedy. And part of his speech was just like, you know, this whole thing, like he said, like, I don't know why, you know, we do this so masturbatory, but if you're the one getting masturbated, it's pretty good. Yeah. So, I mean, it was hilarious then. The other part that I critique, like every fucking year, every time there's a presenter on stage, you know, to come in and talk and speak and read the fucking lines and shit and present awards, everyone's fucking talking at their table. Everyone's just babbling. Like no one stays quiet just to watch.
People are talking during their presentation?
Yeah. Like the whole, like literally it gets kind of loud to the point where even the presenters are like, guys, shh. speech. You know?
See, and this goes back to, I guess the Asians in the library was true.
Yeah.
I guess she had a fucking point, didn't she?
She had a point.
Yep. And it goes back to me in that fucking theater with those two Chinese people behind me just yapping it up. Maybe we do talk a little too much, huh?
Yeah, man. So like that was pretty bothering for me, because even when we went back in the day, I think it was like 2012, right? Fucking my hero, legendary comic artist Jim Lee, was going up to accept an award because he had just become the fucking lead editor of DC. Yes. He moved. It was a major move from Marvel to DC, and he fucking revamped DC's look with his dope ass fucking illustrations, and they were fucking awarding him for it. And while he was up there giving his speech, one of Clara's fucking super fans came over, was like, "Oh my God, Clara!" Blah, blah. And I couldn't hear a goddamn word Jim Lee was saying, and I'm like, I just want to be like, shut the fuck up. My hero's on stage, please. And they didn't change. 10 years later, they're still fucking yapping it up.
That was also too, like, one of my big gripes is like, you know, if you're going to make it a classy event, be classy. Pick which side of the fucking fence you're on. If this is something where I'm supposed to dress up in, like, this is a black tie affair, and you guys are just fucking rambling through all these accolades and awards where you're trying to show people this like respect and love, it's like, shut the fuck up then.
Yeah.
You know, like, pick your side of the fence. Is this a fucking ratchet Vietnamese wedding, or are we doing straight up an award show? Because I would love the ratchet Vietnamese wedding. Fucking let's go. Because if I could show up in like my secret society gear, just, you know, I'm looking decent, I'll get the nice fade, I'll look clean, and I'm allowed in, then let's do it.
Well, there's a few people went quiet for, which was the Panda Express founders. Everyone paid their respects to them.
Hey.
Yeah.
You want to talk about something that changed the world bigger than fucking COVID? Let's talk about Panda Express.
Dude. They made Chinese American like food legit. You know, they invented orange chicken. Like, that's the crazy thing that not a lot of people realize. They're the ones who started that shit.
Orange chicken is delicious.
Fucking delicious.
Shout outs to those fucking Asian American kids on that BuzzFeed video, huh? Nobody would eat this stuff. Real Chinese people wouldn't like this at all. And you said you had their uncle. It's so good.
Yeah, it's delicious. Stop fucking kidding yourselves. That's why we aren't ashamed to say McDonald's is delicious as well. Just keep it real.
Yeah, there's something about me and like, yeah, it's just that self-masturbatory thing, right? And like I said, when you're at that award show, because I see posts where people are like, yo, like I love and respect that. Why were you talking through their whole speech then?
Yeah.
So what the fuck are you talking about? If you really gave them respect and you really cared about them, like, would you be having these million side conversations, not even looking at them receive their award on the This is what I'm talking about. Like, social media is not real. If you were at that fucking event like I was for those 2 years, you would see exactly what I experienced. Just like, people are either here just there to network, to get their fucking name up, to feel like they're very important, to walk this red carpet, but you're not really there to celebrate these people's achievements. You're there to celebrate yourself.
Oh.
And I dislike that. And you know what? This is not indicative of this event. This is a lot of events are like this stuff, right? And once again, if you enjoy this, hey, I have no judgment against you. I get it. I just don't like it.
I feel like they just kind of lose control of the audience, which is weird.
Tell them all to shut the fuck up or beat them with a bamboo stick.
They film it now at the same place. Not film it. They have it at the same place as the Golden Globes at the Beverly Hilton.
Yes,
so it's cool. Nice. It's actually really fancy now. It's just it just seems like the audience can't get their shit together every time.
Yeah, man. It's like I don't know, man. It's just one of those things. I know there's a lot of people there who I love and respect, and you know, because of the recent wave of all this like representation stuff, there's people who were going before are there now.
Yeah. So like Shang-Chi got a couple awards, right? So they gave Simu like I forget if it's like breakthrough actor or something. The idea, like I said, it's not best actor awards. They're just like giving it to people who made a big cultural impact.
Big cultural impact. Like Shang-Chi made a huge cultural impact.
Shang-Chi got a huge big award and ovation too. And I kind of saw it there, like, as much as we personally just don't like it as a film, like that's the place where it's going to get celebrated.
Hell yeah. And it should, rightfully so.
Yeah. Where it was like the people were on their feet and like showing their real love to the Shang-Chi cast. That they showed up. except for Aquafina.
I think she was doing something else or something.
Yeah,
like that,
I think she's filming something right now.
When is she not filming something, dude? Killing it.
Yeah. So it's really high class. It looks super expensive, but and they were sponsored by Remy Martin, right? So each table had a bottle of Remy.
I told you, let's do it fucking Vietnamese wedding style, dude.
Yeah, and I got sick. A lot of people got sick. There was a lot of people you could see just laying out like, oh, nah. Like,
hey, the next one, I want to see China Mac invited to this shit. Because, dude, this guy has been doing so much for the community.
Yeah, he's actually worthy of being up on stage.
He is literally in the cold in protest and support for a woman who got beaten senseless with a brick every day until her husband said, hey, I don't want you to do this anymore because I feel that my wife wouldn't want you young people to stand out here in the cold.
Dang.
So he was doing it nonstop. So, I mean, you want to talk about celebrating somebody from the Asian American community, you better start with that motherfucker right there.
Yeah.
You're talking about somebody who's changed his life?
Well, I'll say that it's not a social award.
Yeah.
It is a Hollywood Asians award.
Yeah, it's just the idea too of maybe it's the thing of just like, it just sounds like somebody trying to say, oh, look at me, I'm also important too. It's like, whose approval are you looking for? You don't need anybody's approval. I think one of the things I really liked about like Asian American culture was the fact that it's true. Like we kind of did things on the down low, right? So if somebody said, oh, you're fucking dumb, you don't know shit, you're a fucking Asian dude, what do you fucking know? It's like, dude, I own half the businesses in your fucking block.
Yeah.
You're a peasant, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So we kind of did things through action and stuff, but once again, it's okay. It's cool to celebrate it and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think it has its purpose. It's just me being there this year I felt so out of place this time. You know, because look, I ran into a lot of old friends that I don't talk to anymore.
Yeah.
And realized, like, do I want to hang out still? Like, actually, not really.
Not really. Dog, yeah. I won't out who this is. Listen, I know a lot of shit about people. But you know, your guy's not choosing war. But like there was this one actress that I know that was at this fucking event. And this is where I go back to social media not being real. This person was going on this diatribe talking to this person behind me. It was behind me.
Yeah.
And was talking about how they don't believe in sex before marriage, even though I know like 30 people this woman has banged.
At a social event?
At the Korean Gala.
At the Korean Gala? Oh, so she was being like Jesus' little helper out there? She was spreading the gospel?
I spit my drink out. Literally was going on this whole diatribe talking to this other person, going, yeah, like, you know, like Jesus Christ has like changed my life. Like I'm a really hardcore follower of like Christianity and like God. Like, I don't understand why people can't like, you know, like I understand like sex is a temptation, but I personally don't believe in sex before marriage. When I literally know 7 dicks that went in her mouth. It's like, why are you?
You took my boy's V card.
Yeah. I'm like, why are you voluntarily opening this information to that girl didn't even ask.
He's
like, changing
me. Yeah. My precious. Like,
but you know, listening to that too, it's like, are you trying to show everybody how fucking pious and religious you are and how amazing you are?
Yeah, it's just like, hey, how are you doing? Actually, you know, let me tell you about my French.
You know, but it's like that stuff too, and then like.
Yeah,
I'm gonna stick to the people that I enjoy and I appreciate, and I don't want to do the hey man, it's been so good. I don't like doing that. You guys eventually will reach that point in your life too.
I think the only person I was actually really happy to see was Justin. Yeah, he actually won an award too for director.
He should have won an award every year.
Yeah, he gave a pretty good speech too, where he was kind of talking about because his past experiences at Korean Gala was just like he would just get wasted and fuck up his presentation.
Hey, one of the funniest things this fool ever did was at Collaboration, he had nipple tassels on.
Yeah, he went to like a Lisa Ling event where in a teddy bear suit and tried to break dance when he can't break dance.
Dude, Justin is hilarious, dude. I know you see this guy as like a director of these amazing films, but he's one of the funniest fucking dudes I've ever met in my life.
I think I don't know if it was a collaboration, but there was another one where like he was a judge, right? It's like him and a couple other Asian American celebrities or something. And whoever was hosting put the mics in their mouths like, hey, what do you have to say? And like, what do you think about being here? When we put the mic to Justin, he went, suck my cock. Let's just say this guy has grown up.
But by the way, this is why I love Justin, though. Yeah. Justin is Justin, dude. Yeah. He's such a fun fucking guy.
Unapologetically.
Yeah, dude. He's such a fun fucking guy, man. He's always been that way. And to see like the type of films and perspective that he has now is such a cool thing to see, man. Mm-hmm. It's really, really fun.
Yeah. And so, man, there's another thing. So in this event, literally every Asian American is there.
Yeah.
Right. And, but there's also a lot of non-Asians because this one guy, right? He's this white actor. He's a good-looking guy, right? Apparently, he's on a couple shows on 2 of the award winners, right? I think they're both Netflix and they're both Asian American leads, and he's on both shows, so he got invited to the gala, right? And so I was with my brother-in-law, Stevie. So if you know Stevie,
yes.
He looks like Bobby Lee.
Yes, he does.
So this actor, I was with Stevie. We were trying to head out, and he's wide-eyed coming to him, right? And even my sister Sora was like, I saw him coming from a mile away, and I walked away to save myself from the embarrassment. She knew this was going to happen.
Oh my God.
This guy came up, he put his hands on Stevie. He's like, hey, excuse me. And he's like, huh?
Yeah.
Right? And he goes, I just want to say, I'm a huge fan, right? And once you hear Stevie's voice, you know it's not Bobby Lee, right? He's like, I'm not who you think I am. I'm not famous, right?
I'm that bad.
This guy's face just drops like crazy embarrassed.
Yeah, I was like, first of all,
oh my God.
Have you heard the phrase, not all of us look alike?
Yeah, and you're at an Asian American award show where 99% of us are Asian, and you pulled that off.
I would literally scream out loud. I was like, this guy thought I was Bobby Lee, everybody.
No, he instantly turned around and walked away the other way. He was so embarrassed.
That's hilarious. Hey, man,
oh my gosh.
Kudos to you, though, because I'll tell you this. I've done that a few times. I don't do that stuff anymore. I fucked up so much. You know, in high school once, so there was 2 people in my high school that were 2 short Asian guys. They were the same height. They looked very similar. But only one of them was my friend.
You can just mix them up.
So one time after school, I fucking ran up to this fool. I picked him up and I chucked him. Like I threw him like a doll.
It's just a stranger.
And it was not him. I had a 50-50 chance of who this. I will still remember this till this fucking day. One of the most mortifying experiences ever. Some random guy, me, picks you up in midair and WWE fucking throws you. And the reason why I did that was because the day before he was over at my house, we were fucking around and doing, it was like, well, I was a freshman in high school, but we were doing, what do you call it? Well, SmackDown type of shit.
Yeah,
just like wrestling WWE shit.
Moves.
And then I fucking did this like somersault roll. And then he was supposed to like catch my fall with a bunch of pillows, but he moved the pillows and I smashed my head into the wall.
Oh my God.
So I was like bleeding on the temple of my head. And then there was this fat gaping hole in the wall. And then my parents beat my ass because I put a hole in the wall. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to get this fool back. And so I saw this fool after school. I literally fucking picked him up and I threw him in midair. And I was like, fucking got you, fool. This dude standing goes, what the fuck?
It's just like a completely
pale. I went pale. I didn't know what to say. And the guy just so pissed, he picked up his backpack and just stormed off. Because I think he thought I was bullying him.
Yeah.
I thought you were my friend. You know?
Dude, that's an allegory to even what we were talking about earlier, man. It's just something you do with your boys. It was your safe space. It's just the wrong person taking it the wrong way.
Like to him, he's like, oh yeah, you just throw your friend in midair?
You're like, yeah, this is what I do with my boys.
Look at my temple, I'm bleeding. He did this to me yesterday. day.
He's like, I don't care.
Yeah. That fool was legit like 4'11".
Oh, no.
Yeah. And then I think our senior year of high school, he shot up to like 5'7".
Damn.
Yeah. Out of nowhere, he had a growth spurt.
Dude, that reminds me of my friend. We're both 5'7", like senior of high school. I grew like an inch since high school. This guy grew to 6'4".
Holy shit.
Yeah. When I caught up with him on social media, like, what the fuck? Like, he's just a fucking, I don't understand people who grow an entire like foot, like who had those growth
Dude,
spurts.
that was my best friend. He was like 5'10" in high school. And then after we graduated, I went to Riverside, and then he went to community college. I came back over break. He shot up to 6'1". He was my height.
Damn.
He shot like 2-3 inches. So I was like, oh shit. And I remember too, like he wasn't very strong. He's probably physically stronger than me now.
Yeah.
But this will, since I was a kid, I hated lying, because my dad used to beat me to a pulp.
Yeah.
Because I would lie so much.
I'm
right?
not a fan of lying.
Yeah. So it's like we understand when people tell fibs, white lies, you exaggerate stories. Those aren't really lies to me. That's just you being an entertaining speaker.
It's literally like, why are you late for work? My tire popped.
Yeah, shit like that. So this fool, it's just something small. We were eating like watermelon inside of my house, right? And then this fool left all the scraps on the table, and I knew it was him because I threw my shit away. I was like, hey bro, is those your scraps? He goes like, nah, that's yours. And that shit
Come on.
pissed me off.
Yeah.
And so I literally crossed his arms. I fucking put my knee into his chest so his arms were stuck onto his chest. And I socked both of his arms until they went numb.
It's just the boys, man. What are you offended of? Hey, man. This is what you do with the guys.
Dude, remember fucking we used to play a game called Bloody Knuckles?
Oh, yeah. Like, that's so dumb.
Literally, for you people who don't know what Bloody Knuckles is, it's self-explanatory.
You just stick your hand out and you go punch for punch on each other's hands.
The winner is the one who's fucking smarter.
Yeah.
They say, I'm done.
Yeah.
We used to play fucking open chest. Do you know what open chest is?
You just stand there and it hit each other?
No, it's PTSD. So you're just walking around school, and then if you're not guarding your chest, you get socked in it.
What?
So I would just be eating like a salad or something, and all of a sudden one of my friends would sock me in my chest, and he'll go, open chest.
Oh my gosh.
And it got to the point, one of my friends, we just hung out recently when I went back to Sacramento. This fool is like a world international karate champion. You're not going to stop his punch. I swear to God, like he hit me once. I think I coughed up blood. Like this fool hit me so fucking hard.
Oh my gosh.
And so it got to the point where this is also something dumb. Birthday hits. You know, after a certain age, it's just getting jumped.
You know what's dumber? Birthday shots.
Oh yeah.
Taking as many shots as your birthday. Oh man.
I remember we stopped doing birthday hits when we all hit 16. I was like, at this point, you guys are just jumping me into a gang.
Yeah. Yeah, I better get something out of this.
Boys are dumb.
Yeah.
Like I remember too, so I avoided one of my friends, and this guy was fucking strong as shit. This fool, I avoided him throughout all day in high school because it was my birthday.
Yeah.
That fool showed up to my house and beat the shit out of me.
What? Happy birthday, bitch.
Yeah. So because I dodged like 10 punches.
Oh my god.
So he just bum rushed into my house and finished the punches. And I'm like, hey man, see you tomorrow.
Oh god. The family's like, what the fuck are you doing? It's like, it's his birthday.
Dude, at that point, we're like, you know what? No more of this stuff, man.
Yeah.
Like this is too much. Like our arms would just be purple.
Dude, the last time I played hit for hit is with the wrong person. I did it with Kenny.
Dog, Kenny's like 6'4".
Yeah, I know. Which is like, I don't know why I agreed.
Kenny's a giant.
He's a giant. I don't know why I agreed. And that's the last time I played. Where I was like, what, 24, 25 years old.
Oh my God.
And that's still too old to be playing.
Kenny is such a sweet guy too.
Yeah.
I can't believe he hit you.
It's because he's so impulsive. He's like, you want to go hit for hit? And I'm a little impulsive too. I was like, yeah.
Let's just fucking do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Kenny, by the way, if you guys don't know, was the lead singer of Daphne Loves Derby.
Yeah, he's a big, tall guy.
First of all, saint.
Yeah, he's Captain Korea.
Yeah.
And like, I know he would hate me like, spazzing him up like this. But like I said, he's like 6'3", 6'4". He's a good looking guy and he's a fucking genius. And he was a leader of a band, like playing arenas around the country.
Like fucking girls in my high school would masturbate to him.
Yeah. Some friends I'll meet, like they'll see him in my Instagram. They're like, how are you friends with him kind of thing? I'm like, he's just my friend. But it's like, he's a normal guy. He's just done extraordinary things.
Like it's nothing.
Yeah. He's an amazing human being. I call him Captain Korea. Like even his grandpa stole a train in North Korea to get them out.
What?
He hijacked the train, got like 150 people on, and they rolled down to South Korea to safety.
Oh, he's just a part of a legacy, isn't he?
Yeah, I think that's why he's like, I got to live up to that.
Do you want to know my fucking family story? Let me tell you my fucking family story. During the Korean War, right? Shit was going down. This is the time for you to stand up for your country. My fucking grandfather, the hero that he is, got a boat and fled and lived on an island until the war was over. Which is exactly what I would have done.
Jeju is really nice this time around. 1950, Jeju Island was very nice.
So my aunt, my oldest aunt, right? Their oldest daughter was born on one of those islands. She doesn't have a birth certificate.
Wow.
So she doesn't.
She's not in the grid.
She's not on the grid. So they had to create one. She doesn't even actually know how old she is.
Right. She doesn't know the actual date of her birth.
The actual date of her birth. Yeah. She was just born on that island that a lot of people fled to.
Yeah.
And they just ran away. And then you have Kenny's grandpa fucking fled North Korea.
Dude, that reminds me actually, a few Thanksgivings ago, my uncle, my mom's oldest brother, he's like 13 years older than her. He just started telling us stories at the dinner table.
Bring the mic down a little bit.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. He was telling stories at the dinner table, and he told a story about my great uncle. And basically when he was a child, he and my grandma and my great grandfather were kidnapped by some spies, I think North Korean spies or something. Yeah. And they tied up my great grandfather to a tree while my grandma was holding on to him, crying, and they fucking killed him. They shot him point blank. Because that's how I learned that how my grandma was deaf, was because that gunshot was so close to her ear, right? Yeah, and then apparently those guys fucked up my great uncle too, and around that time they were living in Japanese occupation, right?
Yeah.
So he was a freedom fighter as a college student. And he was out there fucking up Japanese government shit, being a little guerrilla terrorist. Yeah.
Well, my grandpa's out here just fucking eating kimbap on ice.
Yeah, fucking crazy. So throughout World War II, he was fighting the Japanese. And then after the Japanese bounced and they were trying to set up a new government, that's when North and South Korea got into their civil war, right?
Yeah.
And he was a democratic socialist, he was saying, but a fucking guerrilla fighting democratic socialist. And so he initially wasn't really doing anything for the war, I guess, because he had already been fighting the Japanese.
Yeah.
But then he got fucking kidnapped by guerrilla fighters in the mountains. They kidnapped him and forced him to fight with them, right? And so he was just gone for years, they said. And apparently the year following the war, when it was finally peace, they were all, how Korean families all live in one shigor house?
Yeah.
Right?
The multi-generational home.
Yeah. Everybody's just sitting at home and they're on their front outdoor porch thing. And then they said he said he was a kid and he remembers this. Their house was their front gate was going right down the road and there was a guy walking with a limp and with his arm in a sling like this. And he kept coming closer and closer and closer. And he said it was his uncle, right? And he was fucked up. He had scars all over his body, across his neck. He was shot 9 times and he was finally walking home. He goes, Oma! And they're like, holy fucking shit. And he finally made it home. And so all my other cousins say too, yeah, and remember that uncle? His arm was like this all the time. I never met him.
What
but
the
all my
fuck?
other cousins know him, yeah.
Dude, that's so funny to me because it all makes sense to why my grandpa never talked shit about Japanese people.
Yeah.
Dude,
So it's like
I was a kid. That's why I didn't know about all this like Japanese, Korean animosity until college.
Yeah.
Because my grandpa would be like, hey, I can speak some Japanese. He would show me like Japanese shit. Like it's nothing. But his experience was very different. You know? He was over here fishing.
Yeah, my grandma, I think if you're Korean, all your grandparents know Japanese.
Yeah, they know how to speak Japanese, read and write and
because
everything.
they were forced to.
They were trying to just do a genocide and get rid of our
cultural genocide. Yeah. So they
burned our books, everything.
They turned that palace that's in movies all the time now. You know, that used to be a zoo for decades.
For real?
Yeah. And when they first came and annexed Korea, they turned that palace into a fucking zoo. They destroyed everything in there. And then they just set up the whole courtyard and all this shit to have animals live and shit and piss in it. Right. And
that sounds crazy.
But the hilarious thing is, like, decades after the Korean War, it was still a zoo. They were like, why the fuck is this a zoo? And they restored it.
One day they were just like one employee cleaning shit. They're like, what am I doing? What are we doing here?
Yeah, why did we maintain this? Like,
this is a palace.
Yeah. So they fucking, that's why you see everybody taking pictures there now, but it used to be a zoo for a long time.
That's crazy, man. And when I look back to, I don't know if this ever blows people's mind. This shit wasn't really that long ago.
No, it wasn't. It was literally just 2 generations for us. At least.
And there's people still alive that experienced this shit.
Yeah. People who were like my grandma apparently got married when she was 19 because her best friend got kidnapped as a sex slave.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because her best friend, they were afraid. So what I also learned, I saw these old ass pictures of my Harajuji. He's in Japan, right? And I'm like, but my grandfather isn't Japanese.
Yeah.
He just did very well in Korea, Japanese occupied Korea, that he moved to Japan to become a scholar.
Wow.
Japan. But through my grandma's connections, because my grandfather, the reason why he was kidnapped and murdered was because he was a politician in the government. And so through those connections, they got my grandpa to marry my grandma. So it was an arranged marriage.
What?
Yeah, slowly, because it's like, we can't have her be a sex slave.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't, I guess they weren't like kidnapping like married women apparently at that time, but they were kidnapping teenagers. Very much. That's why they're still alive today. That's what's so crazy.
When I would talk to like some of my friends who were Japanese and like they would ask their parents things, and you know how their parents would describe it was they didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
Like the citizens didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
And especially like culturally too, you're just loyal to your government. So it wasn't this thing like that I think that a lot of people, I mean, there could have been. I don't know. I mean, this is just from a perspective of like these few people. So mine's very anecdotal based on like 2 or 3 families. They're like, yeah, growing up, we were just living.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't know what was going on. Like we were kind of ignorant to everything.
For me, I grew up so angry and pissed off. Because I didn't learn about any of that shit in American schools, right?
Yeah.
It's when there's like a Korean Holocaust museum in Korea that I went to when I was like 16. It blew my fucking mind because in 8th grade, before that, when I was like 13, 14, I went to Washington, D.C. and went to the Holocaust Museum there, right? And it blew my mind. Like, never again, we should never let this happen to, you know, anybody or the world, right? And it was all these, like, the Jews were the example of it, right? Then I go to Korea and I see these atrocities like that were happening to us too, like these torture devices and the fucked up shit they would do. Like they would crucify the Christians. Like they brought back crucifixion. Yeah. Like it was bad stuff.
God damn.
Yeah. They'd cut off freedom fighters' noses and ears and their lips and send them back like without noses and ears.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So they did some cruel shit, right? And so I grew up really angry. A, because I didn't know until later in my life. And B, because it wasn't taught in any American schools, but we learned about the Holocaust up our ass every year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so,
I didn't learn shit about the Holocaust.
Yeah. Really?
Like, what I found out too, it's like, I mean, you don't really think about this, but every school's curriculum is different based on like the demographics in your school.
Right.
So did you read A Raisin in the Sun and watch the play?
No.
See, I did.
Right. So did you learn about Lewis and Clark and not Pocahontas, Sacagawea?
Yeah, I learned that.
Oh,
stuff.
you did?
Yeah.
Oh, that was like everything about Washington State.
Yeah,
Just
we
like
did that. But like
that.
for example, like black culture and history was huge because we had a huge black population in our school.
Right.
So we would watch. That's when rest in peace, Sidney Poitier.
Sidney Poitier, yeah.
So when he passed away, I know who Sidney Poitier is simply because I loved his performance in Raising the Sun.
Mm.
So we read the play Raising the Sun, and then we also watched it in class. It was the black and white version where Sidney Poitier was the main character.
Yeah. But to bring it back, like I had mentioned before, I used to be a major Korean nationalist because of that hate I carried. Yeah. But like it was only later in life when I actually went to Japan, meet and talk and live with the people that it changed my obvious racism.
Yeah.
But and made me have a better understanding like, no, this isn't the Japanese people's fault. Because at the same time, they were in fucking internment camps.
Yeah.
Here in this country.
Yeah.
Right? It was war. It was World War II. Right? And I can't say it's the people, but yeah, I still, to release that hatred I had was like, there's love for the people, but the policies is still something like I get irked about.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine if Germany never taught anything about World War II?
Yeah.
And the shit they did. Well, if they didn't have Auschwitz Memorial either.
Same thing with what's it called? I think it's like in the Taiwanese government too, right?
Mm.
That like they don't talk about like the indigenous people there too, or
right.
something. It happens all over.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy how they just eliminate. Like in China, they do that.
The Tiananmen
Square doesn't exist.
Yeah,
it never fucking happened.
Yeah, dude, have you seen the real photos? Not just the guy holding the bag.
Yeah.
You know when you scroll through Reddit and sometimes some fucked up photo comes out?
Yeah.
It was like a real behind the scenes photo. And it was just like disgusting. It was guts and body parts spread everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah. They didn't just like shoot and kill them. They desecrated their bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty fucking terrible, but it's not taught in their history books and they act like it never fucking happened.
Yeah.
Which is damn near insane. Because, just to put it in perspective, I guess like if somebody were to listen to this, it's like, do you think fucking America's hands are like, doesn't have any blood on it?
Yeah.
There are people who talk about this country and what our military has done to them, which is why we have like straight terrorist factions that hate Americans so much. And then let's say that we were to meet these people and they go, you're an American, we get killed for it.
Right.
But we're like, wait, I just play Nintendo games. What is this? Like, I don't know what's going on.
Dude, like after the first invasion of Iraq, right? We took it like in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right?
Fast.
But why were we there for like the next 15 plus years? Right? They were fighting insurrectionists, not terrorists. That's what I had a problem with too, is that people got insurrection and terrorists like confused in these times. Like, so after they had defeated the Saddam regime, all that stuff. Basically, the people who were fighting those soldiers were people who just lived in Iraq, but they were throwing IEDs, right, and becoming terrorists, right? And they were shooting at them. But you learn why. Why are they doing this? They're simply fighting back because the American soldiers killed their family.
Yeah.
Because they bombed their home, because they killed their children. And they're just like, I have nothing to lose now. I'm going to kill the people that killed my kids.
Yeah.
That's what was going on. So look at it in this perspective. What if China, with their they have like double the amount of foot soldiers that Americans do? What if all those troops just invaded the western side of America, right? And then they successfully defeated it. And it was just run by these Chinese military everywhere. They don't speak your language and they don't look like you.
Yeah.
Right? And they had already won, right? Okay, fine. We've surrendered. Peace. Whatever. But then all of a sudden, every now and then, a bomb will hit your home. Why are you still bombing us? You won.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, like a soldier like shoots and kills somebody driving a taxi. He's just a taxi driver. He wasn't like some suicide bomber kind of thing, right? Over time, there's this resentment. Look, you can get like I heard in Afghanistan, you can get an AK for a pack of cigarettes. Because there's just so many AKs out there in the Middle East.
Damn.
When I was out there, every home had an AK.
That's crazy.
They have as many guns as we do. Guess what? Yeah, they're going to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like all those guns, that's what the Second Amendment's for, right? If there was, Like if our military, if domestically gets overwhelmed, then citizens will take up arms.
Yeah.
You know? And that's what the militias are for. It's exactly what we do. And you know what they would call themselves? Insurrectionists.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. But then people will look at somebody like that and call them a terrorist.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, hey, what's our country doing to them as a people for them to do that? And you see all these people like, why do they hate us? They hate us because we got green hills and rolling mountains and a beautiful flag.
Hey, don't be mad you ain't got bald eagles.
Yeah, you just got dust up your pussy.
Yeah.
You know? Like, that's literally what I heard in high school. Because, you know, I grew up in the sticks. That's
of course, everybody
they
in the
hate
sticks.
us because they live in fucking dirt.
I know. Don't hate us because you ain't us.
Because they're just jealous.
Yeah.
It was like that. But as I went out there, I kind of got a new perspective. Like you watch Star Wars, you watch even like any fucking movie like where the rebels are rising up against the powers that be, right? And who are the good guys in those movies? They're always the rebels.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, people just never know what it's like until they actually go there. Like traveling and experiences are everything because you could hear stories from people all the time, but unless you experience it, you smell, feel all this stuff that happens, you don't really know. You never get to know, right? Like this is a funny little joke on a side story, but this is some real shit. Like I grew up in an area that's very diverse. And next to my parents' store was an Indian travel agency. I've always loved Indian culture.
Yeah.
Like, I know we would do the Indian accent, whatever, but I love the Indian culture. Like I've always loved the food. I love like the weddings, the fucking, the music, the culture, all that other shit. I always thought it was super fascinating. And I actually, like I told this story on the other podcast with Tim. But when I was a kid, we used to call this store Punjabs. That's not the name of the store. It's just what we called it in the neighborhood. My whole life, I thought it was Punjabs. So, but just what everybody called, and they eventually started saying "Welcome to Punjabs" because they just, that's just what it is, right? So they're like, "Hey, you can go to Punjabs." Like, yeah, I'll go to Punjabs. Yeah. But when I went there not too long ago, because they've seen me as a kid. So every time when I was a kid, during the times I had breaks where my mom would let me just go chill and do nothing, I would go over, I would get myself either a cold pickle, I would get a pickle where I would eat a pickle spear, or I get some Hot Pockets, Funyuns, Hot Cheetos, and then like a Calypso lemonade or a fucking soda or some shit, right?
Yeah.
So the guy remembers me. He goes, I haven't seen you in such a long time. Obviously with a thick, accent. But I think you guys have to, I mean, they'll probably say it on the other podcast when it comes out, but I'm not sure exactly what these words mean. But the guy used to teach me bad words all the time. So he would teach me this word. Like I'd probably just Google it, but I don't know how to spell it because I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. But they would say words like, you would always hear it all the time. They'd be like, Saleh. Saleh means like either son of a bitch or bastard. Okay. But he would teach me these random words. And I specifically remember this one word that he would teach me. And it was like either Gandu or Garndu. And I think it means gay boy. so I just remember walking around just being like, Gandu Saleh, just saying all this bullshit. But
just fucking with you.
Yeah. I hope that's what those words mean. I don't know. I don't remember exactly, but it was like son of a bitch, bastard, or gay boy. I would look it up, but I don't know how to spell the words.
Yeah.
But it was so interesting, like just going to these cultures and, just to go back what I was talking about. I remember one time I was like, yeah, I want to go see India. This fool was like, why?
Really?
Yeah. He goes,
do you have family?
He's like, don't go. It's like, it's not good. Yeah. Like, don't go. And I heard that twice. God. I also heard it from my friend Rishi's parents. And they said the same thing. I'm like, yo, is it fucking terrible over there? One of my other buddies told me, like I said, I've never been to India, but literally 3 people that I've known growing up said, it's not that great.
Yeah.
He goes like, yeah, like you might like the culture and stuff that you get to see here in the States, but he goes, India's pretty impoverised. Like it's not as this. One of my buddies, Herschel, he goes, have you seen Aladdin? He goes, that's what it looks like. He goes, if you're not in the nice areas, a lot of India is super impoverished. So like your ideal image of what you think it is, it's not like that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, okay. Like
I can even catch a glimpse of it in like Slumdog Millionaire, right?
Yeah. But in film, you always think things are like super exaggerated.
Yeah.
But like from the way 3 people that I know have told me, they're like, you don't need to go.
I've also heard from like my missionary friends, like the caste system out there is like so rough that they leave their poor and impoverished in the gutter.
I'm once again, if anybody who is from India can explain this to me. I remember there was a girl in high school, right? At the time, she wasn't my friend, so I didn't really know her that well. So I said her last name, but it was the wrong last name. And I said her last name was Singh. And she got hella mad.
Really?
She was like, excuse me, I'm not a Singh. That's beneath me, is what she said. I was like,
what?
Oh, so it's like Singh, like a commoner's name, like in the caste system. Like that's something like you wouldn't have. Because I think her last name is Patel.
Right.
So maybe Patel is a lot higher than Singh. I don't know what it was, but the look of disgust that she had when I thought her last name was Singh, because I don't know, it's like a last name's a last name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the way that she said that, I was like, oh, is this because of like the caste system and like your name kind of gives you like a level of who you are in society?
Right. I feel like, yeah, it's like, so it's really rough in the caste system. It's a because like they are a homogenous society, right? As far as quote unquote race goes.
Yeah.
Right. But they do have different languages because it's such a big country, right?
I mean, there's like
and different fractions of like clans and cultures.
A lot of different languages. That's why I say like I remember he was teaching me Hindi. Because it's like Hindi, Gujarati, there's like Punjabi, there's all these different like dialects and stuff. Yeah.
What my roommate when I was in my missionary school was from India. He flew in from India, but he looked Chinese as fuck. I'm like, you're Indian? And he has like an Indian accent too.
Get the fuck out of here.
But he's like, no, yeah, I'm from Northeast India, like right closer to that area.
Oh, it's like really it's kind of where the border of China and Russia.
Yeah, so he's like light skinned, more East Asian looking, but he's like Indian.
He's Indian.
Yeah, so that was something new I learned too.
You just met him. He was like, hello.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, dude, what? Are your parents like missionaries in India?
You're like, bro, that's really offensive.
Yeah.
You know, Saleh, you don't fucking know me, Saleh, fucking Gando. He's just going off on you.
No, dude, but like even the actor who was the host in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire of Slumdog Millionaire, that guy was complaining like in the movie, and he was angry that he felt like he should have been the star of the movie. Because
my God.
Because according to the caste system too, he is higher than the actor who played the lead role.
That's crazy how strong that shit is still.
Yeah, he was like super upset.
He's like, did you fucking call me Singh?
Yeah. That's us like, don't you dare call me a fucking Kim.
Yeah.
You motherfucker. I'm not no motherfucking Namgoon.
Yeah. I heard there's a lot of reason. The reason why we have so many Kims is because of like how big the clan had the affluence. Yeah. So a lot of people would lie.
Right, so right. I've heard that too.
Like half the Kims in this world aren't real Kims.
Yeah.
So they would just lie on their documents.
I think it was because during the annexation, like apparently everyone had Japanese names too, right? So after that was over, like Koreans had to like fucking revive their identity pretty much.
They could just be whoever they want.
Yeah, so they chose a bunch of these last names. That's why it was like popular names like Pak, Yi, and Kim.
Yeah. Apparently. So if you guys ever wanted to know why Korean people don't have like a wide variation in last names, it's because it's clan based.
Yeah.
You are some from the Kim clan.
Yeah. Okay. So I had this crazy experience. This was like, it was 2007, I think. Me and Dan both got called to shoot a documentary in Korea for the Hallyu wave, right? That was the beginning stages of the K-pop
wave, yeah.
Look at what it is now. But this was back in 2007. Like we were interviewing Big Bang when they were little kids.
That's crazy.
And I didn't know who the fuck they were. I was like, who are these friggin' gay boys kind of thing? Obviously, yeah, this was 2007. During the time. Yeah, 2007. Yeah, but like, and then next thing I knew, like they were like the biggest things in the world. But we got invited to this dinner, right? And they were all like people in the web space of Asia, pretty much. And so in that room, apparently, with the CEOs combined, there was about $2 billion worth of people in there, right?
Damn.
What's the Chinese Google?
A fucking
Weibo or something? Or
I can't remember, but I know what you're talking about.
But
what the fuck is it?
I met that CEO.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like he was there for that. It was like for a G20 summit or something like that. It was a big summit for some wealth thing. Like Colin Powell was part of that summit too or whatever. But at this dinner specifically, I'm sitting next to the CEO of this big software company. And you guys might know what it is. I'm not going to say it. He's just Korean ajashi kind of guy. And we were done filming. I could finally put my camera down and I was seated next to him, right? And I was there with the guy who was on Donald Trump's show, The Apprentice. He was a finalist on that show. And that was part of the job I was with. So this guy, he just starts talking shit about the guy I'm with, you know?
In front of him?
Yeah.
Does he know it's him?
Yeah. He's like, hey, how much do you think he's worth? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I know he's successful in business in America. It's like, but how much do you think? I was like, well, apparently he made his first $1 million in college. And I was like, and he goes, okay, let's say he's worth $10 million. Generously, and he's been saying all this in English too, by the way.
Yeah.
He's generously, maybe he's worth $20 million, right? And then he's like, he's a clown. I'm like, what?
And this guy's just over here eating his food up. Hey, I'm sitting right here.
Yeah, he's just talking shit. He's like, that guy's a clown. He's like Donald Trump. Donald Trump's a clown. You businessman or entertainer, right? He's like, they're both clowns. This is 2007.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And then he goes, I'm worth $400 million. I'm like, oh.
I would have looked at him and been like, do you know how poor I am? Why are you telling me this? I feel terrible.
And then he goes, what's your last name? I go, Park. He goes, I knew it. He goes, I'm Park. He goes, she's Park. He's Park. He's Park. And he's like, we're family. Right? And I was like, this is bullshit, right? He's like, I was like, really? He goes, look at us. Our skin, our hair. Like, you know how some Koreans have that look, that Mongolian look?
Yeah.
That's what he was talking about. He's like, look at us.
Yeah.
We're the same clan.
Yeah.
Right?
So, if I have a daughter, you have a sex with her? That's incest. Yeah. You have a sex with your sister.
So he opens a bottle of Jack. By the way, bottle of Jack is like $100 like out there because it's imported.
Imported, yeah.
Whiskey.
He goes, these are good.
He goes, masho. He's like, take a drink. I was like, oh, I drank too much. And he goes, oh, masho. And I was like, this guy's worth. So like, I take a drink and I was drinking with him. And he was like for real about that name, like family clan shit too. Like for us, like in America, your name doesn't really mean anything unless you're like a socialite. Yeah. You know? But they still
you're a
keep up with it.
Hilton.
Yeah.
You know?
Like 3 parts removed.
I wish I was there. He's like, what's your last name? So like, you didn't care. He's like,
yeah, you dirty monkey.
Yeah. You don't sit next to us. This is a park table.
You clown.
Yeah. So what's your mom's last name? Park. I'm like, it's Park. I swear. Yeah, dude.
I mean, it's wild. They do like, I had a friend who had a big like Park tattoo with the original Chinese symbol for it from where like
the Hanmin symbol. Yeah, that's crazy.
Like from way back where like he's like, do you know what kind of park you are? I'm like, no.
I was like, bro, I'm drank. Yeah. I'm fucking drank.
I don't know. I'm part of you now, I guess, just like you said.
Yeah, it's like, are you gonna pour me some Jack too or what? Like, what the fuck?
I feel like I said, it's because it's a homogenous country, right? Mm-hmm. It's more about classism than it's ever about race.
Yeah, of course, because everybody's Korean. Yeah. So what else can you do to separate you and fucking show that you're better than somebody besides ethnicity at that point? It's going to be this whole caste system.
Apparently there's a law put into place in the early 1900s where they had outlawed classism because apparently it was a problem 100 years ago too.
I think I know for a lot of it what had to do with jobs because they recently made it illegal to stop hiring people based on blood. On your blood type.
Blood type?
Yeah, because that's how serious it is in Korea.
But I get asked that by Korean people. Like, what's your blood type?
So a friend of mine who worked in Korea years ago was like, I had to write my blood type in my application for a job.
Really? And they just, we only hire
They're like, 너 B형이야? 승질 진짜 급하다 너. Which means like, you're very, very quick to anger. So like they would like certain, people who live in Korea could probably correct me if I'm wrong, but this is coming from a person that I know. He said that on an application, he had to write his blood type. They asked his blood type on an application, job application.
My goodness.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
Is that like outlawed here in America because of HIPAA? A blood type, damn.
Because it's a preconceived notion of who you. It's like basically asking somebody, "Hey, so what's your fucking sign?"
Yeah, what's your Myers-Briggs on your job application?
You're Pisces. We don't hire Pisces.
Yeah.
All right. Aries, you're going to be too much of a leader in this group, so I don't think so.
That's wild.
It's just this odd thing too. Like Asian people and that blood type shit. It's like for my mom used to mention that shit to me all the time. She goes, "You're a little fucking asshole because you're type B." That's such a type B type of thing.
Yeah, I hear that. I've always had to ask my mom what my blood type is because someone would ask me about my personality. And then I'd always forget because it's not important to me.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know. Ask my doctor. They know.
It's probably important for medical reasons. Like if I'm losing blood really quick, I should probably remember.
You're like, I could just picture you and do a major car accident and they have to give you an immediate blood transfusion. Like, what's your blood type? You're like, you fucking classist. Fuck that shit. They're like, no, we need your blood type to give you blood. You can't put me in your class system. You fucking kazeki. He's like, I'm also a park. You want to know that too?
You can't define me.
Yeah. Well, guys, that wraps up this episode of the Genius Brain Podcast. What are your thoughts on classes and award shows? Once again, just to reiterate, I have nothing against anybody who loves award shows. It's just not something that I grew up with. So it always makes me feel weird. It feels like I have to suck my own dick. And I just don't like it, But once again, if you love awards and that's what you grew up with, hey, fucking kudos to you, man. You grew up in an environment of positive reinforcement. I was called a loser my whole life. And anytime I got an award, they were like, everybody gets that award.
Yeah.
So we all grew up differently, man. But you could catch Ed at Ed Park VP, and you could catch Genius Brain at 12 p.m. every Sundays until further notice. Secret Society is the clothing line. If you see the cap, SCRTSOCIETY.com. It's one of my bigger passions right now. It's me bringing contemporary fashion basics with just the right quality. And I know you guys hear about quality all the time. We did a previous podcast about this, but knowing about clothes and just creating clothes are two different things. And we're trying to disrupt the clothing system with the shit that we do. So hope you guys check that out, and we'll see you all next time. Peace.
Peace.